Okay people, this is himself. Welcome to another Tekken 7 Marduk guide. In this video, we're going to look at his VTS throws. This is going to include setups, Oki, and a 100 plus damage combo related to the subject. Now if this is your first time here and you want to learn all about Marduk, hit that subscribe button. There's a whole load of videos coming and I'm sure you'll be interested. But back to this video. From his tudo stance, Marduk has two command throws, 1+3 and 2+4. 1+3 gives you the choke slam and 2+4 gives you the scoop. Both of these come out in 12 frames and they have specific breaks, but the hands give it away, so sharp players will break them. Now the choke slam leaves them face up feet away, but the problem is they're far away, so the Oki is almost non-existent. What you could do is go for the tackle. This will reach standers and back rollers, and against the latter you get the spear. But people can stay down and both wake up kicks will interrupt it. An alternative is F3+4. Just like tackle, this hits standers and back rollers, and because it's an unblockable, a hit is a hit. However, the move is a high and it still gets beaten by wake up kicks. To combat that, the only thing you could do is wait and punish. Neither kick will reach you and you can still launch them. What that does is it leaves people to stay on the ground, and the only sensible thing here is D3. But as before, wake up kicks beat you, so all in all, the Oki is not that good. In comparison, scoop slam is way better. They're face up again, but they're much closer, and so the Oki is a lot better. A great option is DF1. This launches wake up kicks, standers and back rollers, and against standers the launch is back turned, but the damage is still good. The move also clips side on right, which is a bonus. For a bit more risk but a bit more reward, we can use DF3. This again launches wake up kicks and back rollers, but standers can block it, and if that happens it's -12. We can also use Battering ram. Again, standers can block it, but back rollers will get launched. It also hits low wake up kick, but the mid clashes. To cover the options that beat DF1, you can use F4. This is side or left and people staying down. Standers can block it, but back rollers still get hit. Against wake up attacks, it's a similar story to Battering ram. The mid will interrupt, but the low gets hit, and seeing as it's a count hit, a stomp is guaranteed. However, the best no-nonsense approach is D3. This hits them no matter what they do, so it's actually guaranteed, and because of that, smart players will just stay down. To counter that, we can use ground throws. No one wants to get launched by DF1, so often they'll just face the 50-50. Now in the future, I will be covering ground throws in more detail, so if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe. Now having these throws is all good, but what we need are ways to set them up. And the awkward thing is that we need to be in stance, but we do have some options. The most obvious one is after 1-2 punches. This can be like a weak 10 frame punish, but from there we can go for the throw. The problem though is that sidesteps can avoid them, and so can ducking. So to counter that, we can cancel into back 2. This is a true homing move and it's safe. On top of that, if you mess up the cancel, you still get while standing 2. The problem with those two though is that they're both slow and people can interrupt. You would think that while standing 1 or while standing 4 would cover that because the frame data says +3, but you can actually be beaten out. So if someone does catch on to this, the best thing to do is just to avoid the setup. A better setup is while standing 1. This is his 11 frame punisher, so you will land it, and once you do, you're at +3, so the throws are almost uninterruptible. The problem though is that people can still sidestep right, but to cover that we have while standing 4. This is both sidesteps, and on clash you still get the stomp. A third setup is sidestep 2, and this is useful on hit and block. On block you're at +2, so the throws are almost uninterruptible. Sadly sidestepping will avoid them, but to cover that we have while standing 1 and while standing 4. While standing 1 will track sidestep right but whiff against sidestep left. while standing 4 will track sidestep left but whiff against sidestep right. Now to cover both, we could use while standing 2, but the move is slow and you might get interrupted. On hit, sidestep 2 is way better. Here you're at +5 and they're forcing to crouch. Now this makes things interesting because in this situation they can't sidestep into the foreground. What that means is that on the 1 player side, sidestep right will escape, but on the 2 player side it won't, and since the throws track sidestep left, they have to either react to the hands or duck. To cover that, we have while standing 4. This catches both sidesteps and it stuns on counter hit. Now normally only a stomp is guaranteed, but at the right angle, DB3 will pick up and you get a full combo. What's also great about these throws is that they both break the floor. Choke slam is a bit awkward because they're far away, but you can still get 60 damage. Scoop slam on the other hand is way better. 65 damage is always possible, but in the right situation you can do over 100. Now my next Marduk video will be covering his air throws, so if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe. In the meantime, check out my Marduk playlist and I'll see you guys in the future.